In this training, we're going to go over what may be one of the best tools that I will ever teach in my life on leadership. What we're talking about is encouragement bombing. Now, of all the tactics, of all the tools and things that I train on practically, I've seen the best return of investment for my time on this specific tactic. What we're talking about is leaving encouraging messages or going out of our way at times to message people, to communicate to them, to talk to them in person and say, this is what I'm seeing. We're going to talk on this training specifically about how to do this, but we are going to start with some of the overview on the impact of encouragement. Why is it one of the best tools that I will ever teach on? Not just have taught, I have full confidence this will remain one of the best tools available for leaders. Encouragement tips, some guidelines that we're going to cover, and then instructions on how to bomb people with encouragement. I am going to end as well with 2 challenges. I'm going to encourage you to choose one of those 2 because we want to make sure we're acting on what we're learning and going through together. So let's dive in just with a thought for reflection. Who fueled you? Think of someone who encouraged you when you needed it the most. What did their words unlock in you? Now, for me, I think of my neighbor, Jim Vincent. Jim was kind of a surrogate grandparent. Neither set of grandparents were local, but Jim stepped into that role. And we were there for Christmas often. We were there at special events. On his deathbed, the simple phrase, it still sticks with me. He looked me in the eyes, he grabbed my hand, and he said, "Will, you're a good man." And I had a lack of affirmation in my life at the time. As a child, I was really needing and desiring affirmation. This single word, "Will, you're a good man." That was 15 years ago. And it still sticks with me today. It fueled me. It unlocked just a sense of confidence and assurance. Think of the impact that someone else has had on you. Even pause this video if you want to take some time to reflect. But what we want to start off with is the idea that encouragement is fuel. And we need this fire in our bones, this fuel in our tank, because sometimes what happens is we lose energy, we lose motivation. And even to draw back to the definition of the word encourage, it means to put strength or courage or bravery, to put it into someone, to strengthen another's spirit. And so if we're looking at those we influence and lead, we need to understand that part of leadership is bringing strength to those on our teams. People need fuel. Let's get real. Do not come along and say to me, "Will, people just need to pull up their big boy pants." People are humans. People are asking these questions. Am I doing a good job? Does anyone even notice? Am I making a difference? Should I keep going? Am I doing the right thing? People need this in their lives, and we have the power to step in at the right time and inject them with courage. Here's a message I got. I'll share a few examples before we dive in. This is a response to some of the encouragement bombing. "Hey, Will, your message honestly made me tear up a bit. Thank you for taking the time to send it. It means a lot to know you're still cheering us on from afar." Fuel injected. Here's another one. This one surprised me. "Thank you so much for your kind words. You have no idea how much that means to me. It makes me want to even work harder and give my absolute best." I was simply trying to say, "Hey, I see you, great job," but it actually spurred them on to greater performance. Now, here's one final example, and this one is a little bit out there. This is a little bit more, I'll show you the message itself. "Oh my gosh, Will, this word is so timely. Thank you so much." Thank you so much, Will. I was actually praying for someone random to reach out with a word, and it was you. You don't just hear God, you let him move you. And we have no idea how our encouragement, it was just a simple message. And full transparency, I was reaching out to people because I was trying to open the door to talk about my business. I didn't do that with her. I started with the encouragement, and I was just shooting people messages. But there are people that are waiting and they're longing, and there's just a space in their hearts where they're thinking, man, I need someone, anyone. God, send someone. Tell me I'm doing okay. Tell me something affirming. And that can be the impact, whether it's simply encouraging or fueling or bringing divine confirmation. The power of just a few moments, it doesn't take much. Just a few messages, a few insights that we can share with people about what we see in them can make such a profound difference, changing the trajectory even of someone's life. So to recap here, encouragement, it is leadership. And the title itself, you've got a title, a position that gives you authority, a badge, but encouragement, it builds the influence. Just the final thought before we dive into encouragement bombing. This is something that especially earlier leaders don't always appreciate or recognize, this difference between relational equity and positional authority. People will only do so much for you because of your title. And often when we try to get action or buy-in, we think that the position itself should just get people to fall in line. And then we overextend our positional authority. We run out because we use it too heavy-handed. We shove that badge in people's face too often. But people want to follow leaders, not just obey bosses. And when we invest in people through these simple habits like encouragement bombing, we just drop messages from time to time. That's filling up that relational equity so we can have sometimes tougher conversations with people and they land better. We can ask people for favors or to do tasks for us, and they'll assist and they'll do it gladly because there's something about how we show up for them that creates a bond and a connection and a trust. They want to follow us because they see that we value and we see them. So here's how to encourage. We're going to share some basic tips. I'm going to give an example and do this live on the training. There are 3 levels, and we go through this in another training, but what we want to make sure we do is we don't just give light and superficial messages. We want to have a message, a voice memo or a text that really gets into the depths of their heart and fuels them from within. And so the first level is performance. What did they do well? We want to call out things that we appreciate of their performance, but we don't want to stop there. We want to step into what we see as the impact of their life. Where are they headed? What is the outcome if they keep on this trajectory? And finally, the deepest level, and we're going to weave these all together, is personhood. We're going to say something that solidifies an identity statement. It says, I see this in you. I see integrity in you. You are a person of integrity. This is not about manipulation. Warning, some people, when you watch this, you might think, a trick, a tactic to get people to do stuff finally. This is not that. It's not about flattery. It's not about manipulation. You need to actually be sincere. And part of this is the journey of us becoming people who notice and care at a higher level. So it's not about manipulation. And we need to give evidence. Be specific. Don't be vague when you leave messages with people. If you're giving affirmation, say something important. Why are they awesome? Tell them something specific. Did you see something? Did they do it? Share the impact on you as a person. I'm going to give an example here. In a moment, we'll do an encouragement drop. But to lock in the highest level of encouragement, we want to say about how we felt from that impact. It made me feel. So here's the example. Let's switch over, and I'm going to bring out my phone here, and we're going to drop a message or two live. Now, this is genuinely someone I've been thinking about lately, and I'm going to send them a message demonstrating just my process for doing this. It probably takes 30 seconds, takes maybe a minute tops, depending on how long. So, a short burst of encouragement. And again, I talked about the ROI, return of investment. A little bit of time, and boom, huge impact. So, who we're going to reach out to is my old art teacher. I've been out of school for years now, but my favorite teacher, Dale Huberts, she is someone that just really made a mark on me. And so we're going to shoot her a voice message and pay attention for those three levels. Just get the heart and the sense of what the practice looks like. So here we go. Hey, Dale, I've been thinking about you a ton lately. You keep coming up in my mind, and I know we haven't connected for a while, but I just wanted to reach out and share how much of a difference I feel like you've made in my life. I didn't have a great high school experience. I'm not sure if I ever told you that, but you were one of the people that really made school worthwhile to me. And I'm thinking about some examples, some moments. I'm thinking about Nathan and some of the wild things he'd do and how gracefully you'd respond to him and to us. It felt like you made things fun, you made things exciting. And I'm actually putting a lot of that art stuff to use today, especially for design work for my company. You've made such a difference in my life, and I really want to make sure you know that. You're the kind of person who really leaves that lasting impression. And I just have this confidence that when you get to heaven one day, you're going to have just a lineup of people that say, Dale, thank you so much for believing in me, for encouraging me, and making art, making learning fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and just want to make sure that you know that you're a difference maker. Miss you a ton. Maybe we'll have the chance to connect sometime soon, and I can introduce you to my babies. All the best. That was it. Was thinking about you lately. Wanted to make sure you knew how special you are. Okay, it was a minute and a half. I leave a text as well because I want to leave the voice note to show them and personalize it, but I also just want to leave them a text so they know what they're about to listen to. Let's do one more example here just to lock this in. Let's do another gentleman here. Mine's going blank here. We're going to do a gentleman named Michael Brodeur. Michael Brodeur is one of my favorite teachers. I'm thinking of teachers right now because I'm in a teaching lane. And even from his past message with me, he actually said, I texted him in March, your encouragement put some wind in my sails. Blessings. So let's leave him a message again because he's coming to mind and that should be a trigger for us. So let's see here. Just let me think for a second. Hey, Michael, I want to shoot you a voice message. I know I reached out in March, but you keep coming to mind, and maybe that's because of the season that I'm in, but I'm feeling so grateful for the training you did in the clap track. It just felt like you were one of the few teachers in my whole life, really, who gave me practical, actionable steps. And I'm actually using a lot of that today. It feels like I come into these hard situations. I was previously a COO. Now I've launched my own business. And I'm coming into these situations where it feels like I'm equipped. I know what I'm doing. And that was in large because of you. And so I wanted to reach out just to put some more wind in your sails, like you shared from last time, because the work that you're doing is leaving such an impact. There's so many leaders who maybe they don't reach out, but maybe they've heard you once in a message. Maybe they've been a part of something you've been doing, and they've now been sent out with a fresh set of skills and tools in their belt and insight. Whatever I accomplish in life, I will always look back to your training and believe that you were one of the people that set me up for a life of meaning and purpose. I think the word legacy maker is something that defines you really well. You are a legacy maker. And I want to bless you and just encourage you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I'm so grateful and will always be grateful for your investment in my life. So that's the habit. That's the practice. We send these messages, and that one took a minute and a half as well. So maybe that's my average, minute and a half. But we share just some things that touched our hearts, some things that we see. And at times when you get frustrated with people, it might take a little bit more work to see what is good that I can call out in them. And what we're doing is we're calling things to the surface, the best in people. We're speaking identity and purpose and hope and vision and impact. And that fuels people. Like this gentleman, Michael, he shared, it puts wind in my sails. That's what we do for our team. That's what we do for those in our lives. Here's some thoughts as we transition. Who to encourage? Start with your circle of influence, the people closest to you. That could be a spouse or partner, but as you're implementing this new habit or playbook, consider that there's people who you might overlook that deserve and actually are requiring or needing your assistance. Your children even. Are we good with our employees, but our children are overlooked? So consider who the closest people are to you, first of all. Business people, key leaders, direct reports. We really need to own the people closest to us first. We do want to become a person who encourages, but it starts by saying who is the closest group of people that I'm responsible for and I'm also building up. My direct reports, the people closest to me. Clients and strategic relationships as well. Try to be intentional before being universal. We want to plan this out a little. You might take some time after this and write the list of people that you want to encourage. This is the trigger that I want us to adopt, and this is the goal. If you see it, say it. Something positive and happy comes to your mind, just make that the trigger to jump in. Many people, many leaders, they have encouraging thoughts, but not too many actually take this action. And it's not just a leadership thing. This is really a life skill. Imagine if you could become this kind of person who is sowing encouragement and fueling people everywhere you go. Choose the medium. Text, that's quick. You can do voice dictate. I love voice dictation because it saves my thumbs. It allows me to stream of consciousness dump, but voice memos are super personal. Videos are great as well. I've done those from time to time with Loom. That's a great one to use. Making a phone call is awesome. It takes a little bit more time. It could be a 5, 10, 15-minute conversation. Leave a note, write a card, maybe do it in front of people. This is a fun one to try where you say to someone, I'm talking to someone and my friend is right next to me, and I speak about my friend as if they're not in the room. I might say, hey, Bob, you know what I really appreciate about Frank? Frank's right next to me. Bob, this is something really cool about Frank. And I publicly, even in a two-way conversation, three-way conversation, that's a really fun way to get people sparked up. But to me, I love voice memo drops. It's super easy to do. Minute and a half doesn't take long. It just takes intentionality. Yeah, secret weapon is voice memos. The emotion, the energy, the warmth, the authenticity. I'm injecting that into the messages that I leave for people. Remember my message, my story about Jim Vincent. Will, you're a good man. It wasn't complicated, and many of the encouragements that you're going to give are going to be more detailed and specific, but that stuck with me. It did stick with me for years. He's been long gone now, and I remember that word and what it did for me. So consider that this is not just a simple task. You're starting to see why I shared earlier. This may be the most impactful leadership tool I will ever teach because of the lasting impression on people's lives. So yes, when do you do this habit, voice dropping? Spontaneously is a goal. If you see it, say it. Just let that be the cue. Good things, right away, jump on it. But realistically, as we're starting out, if this is a new habit for you, you may want to actually schedule time. I did this earlier on when I was a COO. I had Tuesday for half an hour or maybe 20 minutes. I would intentionally schedule encouragement time. And I'd sit there and consider, who on my team do I need to leave a message, an encouragement with? Who do I need to leave a voice drop or memo? And I would just blitz them. I'd send them off left, right, and center. And that would be my weekly habit. And people didn't know that. They just felt like I was randomly messaging them. But it helped me to be consistent while I was developing the habit. Schedule time. Consider and maybe pause this video and plunk something into Google Calendar. When in your week are you going to do this habit? Here's the challenges I want to end with for this training. 2 challenges, pick one. The first one, and of course I hope this becomes a habit. First challenge is right after this video, send a voice memo to 1 employee and 1 friend. Follow this training, look for the additional playbook instructions, follow this training and send 2 messages in total. We need to actually act on these things. We need to activate our learning. And so that's the first challenge. But I do have a second challenge. This is for people who want to dive a little bit deeper. And this is really where it becomes an overhaul of our leadership. This is how we increase that muscle. This one we're calling the Encouragement Rampage Challenge. This is a 30-day challenge where we're going after 100 people, 100 pieces of encouragement. And as you can see, there's actually a form. There is a checklist where you can see types of leaders as prompts or suggested ideas. Maybe you don't fill in exactly to those boxes, but if you want to encourage coworkers, friends, previous mentors like I did, people from your past, people you know are in a difficult situation, you're going to sign up for this challenge and work through in 30 days just blitzing, barraging, rampaging with encouragement. Text messages are fair game, voice memos, fair game, whatever implement you're going to use, but we're going to track every name and not give generic compliments. You're going to follow what you just received for training, and we're going to take that and let it loose on the people in our lives. If you are interested in this challenge, it's about developing that muscle. It's an encouragement muscle to notice things. And we're also transforming our leadership in the process. Imagine the impact that your team is going to see as you start to speak identity and purpose and confidence into people, boosting their team morale. And at the end of the day, we want to become leaders others want to follow. And that takes an overhaul of something much deeper. It's not just a discipline or skill, but it's through repetition becoming this kind of person, a catalytic, encouraging leader. So if you're up for that second challenge, here is the QR code. Scan this to sign up. There will be a form to fill in. You're going to get access to that sheet, and you're going to get some additional resources through the journey. I do encourage you as well, maybe get them to watch this video or the resources and get them involved as well. Imagine what would happen if we could get thousands of people to take this challenge. I'm starting to dream as I roll out this training what could be as we let loose hundreds of people getting encouraged from each individual. So scan that QR code, pause it if you need, if you haven't yet, if you're going to sign up for this challenge. But whatever it looks like, again, if you're just going to get started and you're thinking, you know what, I'm just going to start with a message or two, or whether you're saying, Will, sign me up, I'm ready to deep dive. Become an encourager. See this as one of your leadership tools and even responsibilities, fueling your team and using the skill, the playbook of voicemail drops, of encouragement bombing, and see your influence soar. See their hope and their encouragement soar as well. Good luck and happy encouraging.